Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. I am, me the watchman, for Tabernacle of the Most High, your brother Netanyahu. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua. Kwam Yasharallah, we got next. Be ye ready to take the kingdom, ye black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, because we are the people of the book. So, the topic today will be strive to be quiet in your walk. In your physical walk for this truth, and your spiritual walk for this truth. Sometimes we are more ready to to teach rather than to hear or to learn, right? Sometimes we have to be humble in everyday aspects of our lives. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get Proverbs 18 and 21. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. I believe that this class will help a lot of people, and including myself, because it had to start with you first. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Meaning you have death in your tongue and you have life in your tongue. Meaning what? You can show people the way to truth, the law, statute, commandment. You can speak healing to people. You can speak joy into somebody's life, comfort into somebody's life. But then there's death. Meaning what? You can speak the opposite of the truth, the law, statute, commandment. You can condemn a person's soul by not warning those people, by not lifting up your voice as a trumpet. And you can also speak death into that person, ill will to that person, scandalize that person's name, tear them down, and never build them up. Death and life is in the power of your tongue. You can kill somebody with the very tongue that you speak. You can also heal somebody with the exact same tongue. How? I'm going to give you an example. You might say something to a person that might put them in a very strong, depressed state of mind, and that person might end up killing themselves. But then again, a person might be in that same situation, and here you come giving them the word, and that word does what? It cleans them from the inside out, and it puts away all evil thought from their consciousness, and they become life, or they become live. They will live, things like that. So it says, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Meaning that you eat the fruit of the death, or you eat the fruit of the life. You reap the benefits of what you might put forth when it comes to speaking life to somebody, or you're going to reap the benefit and the fruit of what comes from speaking death onto somebody, or teaching so. You get what I'm saying? So, now let's start at 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 11. Okay. Again, strive to be quiet in your walk. Your physical walk for the truth and your spiritual walk for the truth. Right? Because why? There is a target on you, Israel. You are being labeled as a hate group. So sometimes it's always to be what? Wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Follow me. So the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 11. And that ye study to be quiet and do your own business, and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. Meaning what? Study to be quiet, meaning strive to live a quiet life. A life not drawing attention upon yourself. Okay? Strive to live a quiet life, not drawing attention to yourself. Do your own business. Mind your own business, Israel. In the world, we was always in people's business. We had to be a part of the crowd. We had to be in the midst of the crowd, hearing everything that's going on. But you know what happens when people that's in people's business all the time? They get involved in people's business, and they are a partaker of that business. A crime could come from being in people's business, and then what you find yourself? You find yourself being a partaker of that crime, being questioned, being what? Watched. So mind your own business. We can't do the same thing that we used to do when we was in the world. We are not of the world anymore. We keep the law, statute, and commandments now. Okay? Do not meddle in the midst of crowds. Don't be nosy. Don't be a gossiper. All right. Work with your own hands. Meaning what? Okay. The scripture says, work with your own hands. Meaning do what? Not relying on others to help you or provide for you. You have the means to take care of yourself. You have the mindset to go out there and get it for yourself. You don't need somebody to force you to do something, right? You don't need nobody coming over and doing things for you. You will do it yourself. Verse 12. That ye may walk honestly towards them that are without, and that ye may have lack of nothing. Meaning what? Okay. That they who shall see you in your manner, in such a manner, will say unto themselves, indeed, this man, this woman, works with his or her hands, and is in want of nothing. Meaning what? This person don't depend on nobody. This person is an example of, okay, yeah, this man, he's keeping to himself, right? He's staying out of people's business. He's not a gossiper. None of those things. He don't depend on anybody. He's willing to do it himself. But he's not refusing help from people that want to help. But he's quick to say, no, I would do it myself than to depend on anybody. All right? So, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. As I stated, the topic today is what? Strive to be quiet in your walk. Your physical walk and your spiritual walk. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest in the house of Elohim. Be more ready to give ear. Be more ready to hear than to get the sacrifices of fools. For they consider not that they do evil. So, keep thy foot, meaning what? You better tread lightly in the presence of the Most High. Beware of your actions, what you may say and what you may do. The words that might proceed out of your mouth. Be quiet, all right? Be ready to hear, meaning what? You should already have your mind set to be quiet, willing to hear, to learn, to understand Israel. Because what can you teach the Most High? What can you utter the Most High to the Most High that he doesn't already know? Especially when it's coming, just in general. And then when it coming from somebody that he made himself, don't you think that he already know your mind, your thoughts? He knows those things. Let me see real fast. Give me a hold. Let me see if I can find a scripture in Genesis. All right, this is Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The Most High knows your thoughts, right? He knows your thoughts already. So there's nothing that you can say to him that he don't already know, right? So it says back in Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh. Be more ready to hear. Be real ready to be quiet, to learn, to understand, right? To be guided. Then to give the sacrifices of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 15 and 8. Proverbs 15 and 8. Book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Those upright is a person that walk righteously, honestly, right? Those that keep their foot, those that know when to speak and when to utter anything. But the prayers of the wicked, but the forgive me, but the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. Why? Because they lack understanding. Let's go to verse 21. Folly is joy to him that is destitute, meaning foolishness is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, meaning what? That lack wisdom. So joy, foolishness is joy to him that don't have wisdom. So when you go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 5, where it says that the bottom of verse 5, then to give the sacrifices of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Meaning what? They don't have the wisdom to understand that what they're doing, what they're saying, and what they're uttering to the Most High is foolishness. You have to be aware of what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself to the Most High. Because He is not us. We are not Him. He is the potter and we are the clay. So it says, verse 2, be not rash with thy mouth. Rash is what? Think without consideration. So you think without consideration. Be not rash with thy mouth. Don't think without consideration. Don't speak without considering what you're going to say. And let not thine heart be hasty to utter. Hasty, so quick. Let not your heart be so quick to just say anything to the Most High. That's what the church does. The Christian church does all of these things a lot, every day, all day long. They say any and everything in the presence of the Most High. You can watch any, I don't advise you watching it, but if you've been in church, you already know. You sit in the, I don't even remember what is it called again? The pillars. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I can't even remember. I ain't been in church so long. But you hear them just uttering this anything to the Most High, just saying all kinds of things. You know, because they lack wisdom. Because it says in what? Psalms 111 verse 10. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do His commandments. They don't have none of those things. So they lack wisdom. All right? So, be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything. Let not your mind be so quick to just utter anything in the presence of the Most High. Meaning, meditate on what you're going to say. Don't just speak anything. Don't be a speaker without the thinker. You have to be the thinker before the speaker, right? Okay. So be not rash with thy mouth, meaning what you don't be so quick to speak without considering what you're going to say, right? Don't let your mind be hasty to utter anything. Don't be so quick to just say any and everything. Why? Why does He say that? For Elohim is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be few. So we're going to go to the book of Matthew chapter 15. Why should we allow our mouths to just utter anything or be so hasty? Let our mouth utter anything or be so hasty, and let our heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. So we're going to get to that. Let's go to the book of Matthew. We go to 15 and verse 18. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 18. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. So what you utter out of your mouth comes forth out of the heart, and it will defile you. So you got to be careful what you say to the Most High. Because what you say to the Most High out of your heart, like I said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. What you speak out of your heart, that come forth out of your mouth, it can defile you. It can corrupt you. It can cause you to be destroyed in the presence of the Most High. So, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart and defile the man. For out of the heart proceeded evil thoughts. That's what you just got done going over in Genesis. The Most High knows these things. That's why He's telling you. The Most High knows the thoughts. That's why He's telling you, don't be so quick to just say anything. Right? For out of the heart proceeded evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. You can blaspheme the Most High, the Holy Spirit, by just uttering anything to Him. That's why He says, don't be so hasty. Don't be hasty to allow your mind to utter anything. Don't be so quick, Israel. Remember, we have to learn to be quiet in this walk. Physical walk of truth and spiritual walk of truth. Right? So now, let's go back to Ecclesiastes 5 and 2. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 2. Be not rash in thy mouth with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. He is in heaven, we on earth. Right? Let's get Isaiah chapter 64 and verse 8. We got to remember something. We are flesh. Even though we have a spiritual being, we are flesh. The Most High is a spiritual being. But He don't depend on this. He's not depend. He's not confound to the flesh. We are confounded to the flesh. That's why we are capable of sinning and falling and coming short. The Most High is not that. Now, but that doesn't mean He doesn't have a body, because in order for Him to sit on the throne, He has to have some kind of form to sit on that throne. But He is not condemned by this. This is not His downfall, like it is so many of our people. Right? So, Isaiah 64 and verse 8. The book of Isaiah, chapter 64 and verse 8. O now, O Yahweh, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou art potter. And we all are but the work of thine hands. We are of the work of His hands. We are the clay. The thing that is clay can't utter nothing to the Most High, just anything to the Most High. We can't do those things. Because why? He's in heaven. He is the creator. He's dwelling in a place that's overseeing all things. He is above us. His thoughts are above our thoughts, and His ways are above our ways. Right? Let's go to Romans 9 and 20. The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 20. Again, Israel, I love y'all. Happy Sabbath day. It's a joy within my heart to be Israel. It is a joy within my heart to be awakened out of this dead sleep that I was in. When you realize that you have been awoken and you have the opportunity to escape the second death, that is joy within itself. We take this awakening for granted, because there are people that's out there right now that the Most High hasn't woken up, but He woke you up because He sees something in you. Now, are you called or are you chosen? Romans 9 and 20. Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against Elohim? Shall the thing formed, the thing that was formed by His hands, replies against form, saying to Him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? We cannot speak unto the Most High. We can't question the Most High. If we can't question the Most High, then you best believe you got to be careful what you utter in the presence of Him, because He created you. You're nothing but a vessel. He knows what your thoughts is. So be wise and selective on the words that you're going to use before the Most High in His presence. Because out of your mouth can proceed what? Blasphemy. Now, let's go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 2. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few. We are but flesh. And the spirit that is in us is consumed of that flesh. And what comes with that is what? The ability to fall and come short of the glory of the Most High. But the Most High is the glory. His Son is the glory. The laws, statutes, and commandments are the glory. So that's the reason why he said that be you therefore perfect as your Father in heaven also perfect. Meaning what? The commandments will take this physical fleshly form and mold us into a what? A more perfect being, to the point what? That we won't be consumed by this, the flesh. Right? So now we're going to go to the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. Book of James, verse 19, 1 and 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Let every man be swift to hear, to listen, to understand, right? Not so quick to want others to hear what you have to say. Not so quick to want people to understand what you have to say, right? Slow to speak, not always slow to speak, not always wanting to be heard, understood, right? Not wanting to be that person that always want to be the talker and not the listener, right? Slow to wrath, not so easily to get mad. Don't be that person that only want to talk, and get mad, angry. So quick to get angry. Why? Somebody might cut you off. Why? Because you think nobody don't understand what you're saying. But have you ever took the consideration that maybe you don't understand what somebody else is saying yourself? Examine yourself, man. Come on now. You know who we are. We Israel. You can't bring in the attitude that you had in the world into this truth. It's not going to work. Right? You can't mix those two. You can't mix worldly oil with spiritual oil. It's not going to work, because the doctrine and the knowledge and the wisdom that you gain from the word is earthly. It's not from above. But the doctrine and the knowledge that you gain from the spiritual realm, which is in the scriptures, it came from above. It is heavenly. It is peaceful. Right? Come on now. And it also goes into something else too. Being able to willing to learn rather than to teach. I'm not saying not to teach. What I'm saying that sometimes you can learn from people, because you don't have it all. None of us have it all completely, right? We don't have it fully. So if somebody come along and want to give advice, somebody, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Still be attentive to the listening and hear what they have to say, right? So now, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and 11. Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 11. The book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 11. Be swift to hear, be quick. Be always willing to listen. Don't have a problem with somebody wanted to tell you something, or somebody wanted to show you something, or somebody wanted to teach you something. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere. With patient, give an answer. So, be swift to hear, meaning listen and to learn, Israel. We as a people tend to want others to listen to us. We want to teach and not be taught. That goes for the men and the women. You have that amongst our brothers and sisters in the truth. You know, everybody believes that their doctrine, their wisdom is stronger than everybody else's. You know, but once Yahweh Shah comes back and he plants us in that wilderness, all's going to be corrected. And it's up to you if you're going to stand that test and that trial. when there was time to come in the wilderness. You know, that's why you got to examine yourself now, right? So, let thy life be sincere, meaning be a honest example for those who shall see you. With patience, give an answer. Why? Let all be done in decency and in order. There's a time and a place for all things. You got to live. You have to be a person that is willing to just hear somebody out. Listen to somebody. Not worried about having to be in the center of attention, right? Live a sincere life. Be honest about who you are. Walk honestly according to your ways and your walk. When people see those things in you, man, it does something for people. You got to be the example. You got to let your light shine, right? So let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. It says in verse 11 again, be patient be swift to hear and let thy life be sincere, meaning live an honest life. A person that's willing to hear, listen, and to learn and to understand. With patience, give an answer. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. No, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time, every purpose, a time to every purpose under the heaven. Right? Verse 7. A time to rent and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. So you got to be patient in your speak. Why? You have to be a person that can analyze the conversation that you're having. Maybe the conversation that you have is not like a pleasant conversation, and the thing that you need to say might not be necessary to say at a particular time. Maybe we want to come back again and bring it back up again, and then go forth. Sometimes you gotta, because sometimes some people might deal with anger and issues and things like that. Some people might be overly emotional, and you have to be patient when you say certain things, right? And not only that, you just have to just be aware. Be aware of what you're going to say at all times. Just be patient. Sometimes it's not the right time to say something. There's a time and a place for all things, right? Now, let's go to Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 19. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19. The book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 19. In the multitude of words there wanted not sin, but he that refraineth his lip is wise. Meaning, with sin, with multitude of words, with multiple words, sin will come. Sin will present itself. Sin will show itself, because no man can tame his tongue. Okay? Let's go to the book of James 3 and 8. In a multitude of words, sin will come. Why? Because you're trying to prove yourself so much. A lot of times when people try to use so many words, man, over and over, excessive talking, they're trying too hard to prove themselves. And then what comes out of that? Irritation, anger, all kinds of things proceeded out of that. James chapter 3 and verse 8. Book of James chapter 3 and verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. It is unruly evil, full of deadly poison. You cannot tame the tongue. So the longer you keep on talking in multitude of words, you're gonna end up causing sin. Something is gonna come forth from those multitude of words, because why? You can't contain your tongue. You can't tame your tongue. All right. And the scripture says, in the multitude of words there want to sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. He that refraineth his lip is wise. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5. No, Ecclesiastes. Let me see real first. I don't know if it's a rock. If I want it might be. It just might be. Let me see. Verse 6. Suffer not, Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 6. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angels that it was an error. Wherefore should Elohim be angry at thy voice and destroy the works of thine hands? So, but he that refraineth his lip is wise. He that can control his lip is wise. Why? Because out of your mouth proceed evil things. You can't contain your tongue, right? And you will be destroyed. Not only just physically, but spiritually, you can be destroyed. All right. Again, what is the topic, Israel? Strive to be quiet in your walk, your physical walk and your spiritual walk. All right. So now we're going to go to back to Proverbs 10 and 19. In the multitude of words, there wanted not sin. But he that refraineth his lip is wise. Wanted, meaning want not sin. In the multitude of words, there want not sin. Meaning that use an excess of word. You're not saying you don't want to sin. You don't want to sin. You're basically saying that you want sin. You are accepting sin to come in because why? You're just going at it. You're mad. You're angry. And the excess of words, evil words are going to start coming out. And what comes out evil words? Evil actions. Then an evil result. So now, like I said, but he that refrained his lip is wise. He that control what he speak. A person that can control what he speak is a wise person. Let's go to Sirach 7 and 14. Sirach chapter 7 and verse 14. Because many occasions, if you can just Google it, there's gonna come a time, Israel, when I'll be able to just upload educational purposes for the videos that the Most High placed on my heart. But once the Most High bless me in a manner to where I'm able to do those things or so much afforded, then I will do that. Now I'm just recording on my cell phone. So, but at the particular, like as I'm saying though, you can see throughout society how a multitude of words has caused a lot of people to sin, death. You see it a lot between our own people. The lying, the gossiping, and all that results into what? Something that came from either cheating, stealing, or killing. All of those things, man, comes from multitude of words, not being able to tame your tongue. All right? So, Sirach 7 and 14. Use not many words in the multitude of elders. Make not much babbling when thou prayest. Babbling is going into talking in a continuously foolish or incomprehensible way. Incomprehensible way. Meaning what? You are speaking foolishness. So, it says, use not many words in a multitude of elders. Meaning what? Do not put yourself in the same category as if you know as much or more. Learn and not teach. Let me give you a few precepts on this. Let's go to Sirach chapter 6, 36. Sirach chapter 6 and 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Meaning always be around him, willing to just listen, to learn, minister unto this man. Let this man give you everything he possibly has. Just be there. Just close your mouth and open up your ears. Verse 37, let thy mind be upon the ordinance of Yahweh, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom and thy own desire. Meaning what? If you hearken unto this and go to people that are full of understanding, the Most High will give you what you need and what you desire. Because the Most High will give you what he want to give you on his own terms and on his own will. But then he will give you certain things through the mouth of the prophets and the others. Like us. Did we get understanding the wisdom because Most High just came down whispering in our ear? No. We heard his voice through the prophets of this book. And we're taking heed to it. Now our understanding has increased the more. Let's go to Sirach 89. Book of Sirach in chapter 8 and verse 9. Miss not the discourse of elders, for they also learn of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, to give answer as required. This was the Most High saying. He's going to give you what you desire through the understanding of the elders, because they had understanding from their fathers as well. Verse okay. Now, just put the icing on the cake. Let's go to 32 and verse 7. And verse 7. Speak, young man, if thou be need of thee. If you are asked a question and there's a need for you to give an answer, speak then, but don't just speak, right? And yet scarcely when thou art asked twice. Okay, when an elder is asking you a question and he have a need of you to answer, he have need to ask you a question, speak. But not even on the first time, but even the second time when you ask again, be scarce to answer. Because why? You can't put yourself in that category with them. You don't have the same understanding that they have. You're not on their level. There's different levels. The Most High might wake somebody 30 years before you. You've been in 5 years and now you're an elder. No. None of those things. All right? Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. Now let's go back to Sirach 7. What does it say? Sirach 7 and 14. Use not many words in a multitude of elders. Didn't we just say that? Wait a minute. Hold on, wait a second. Didn't Sirach 32 just say that? Let me grab it one more time. One more again. Sirach 32. No. Yeah, Sirach 32 in verse 8. Let thy speech let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. It says, use not many words in the multitude of elders. Right? Verse 14. Use not many words in the multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest. Like I said, babbling meaning talking continually, foolish, or an incomprehensible way. Not being able to be understood. Don't be praying in a way. Don't be when you praying, make sure that you're being understood. Don't be mumbling and things like that. Like the Christian do. You know the Christian being Father. Oh no, don't do that. That's the damn devil. All right. The Most High, our whole development, right? Our whole being is from the Most High. So the same way you want to be understood, don't you think the Father wants to be understood? The same way you want to understand, don't you think the Father wants to understand too? He want to hear you out. He don't need all that. Don't do all of that. Now, as I'm saying, you can't cry to the Most High, but cry to the Most High in a way that you can be understood. Okay? So don't pray in a foolish manner, with words not able to be understood, murmuring, like the Christian church do. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 7. But when ye pray, use not vain repetition, as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not like them. All right? Be more understood. Don't say the same thing over and over and over again. Don't be praying the same. Every time you pray, you praying the exact same thing over and over and over again. Okay? Now, we're going to go to Sirach 18. The book of Sirach, chapter 18. No, Sirach 9. Sirach chapter 9. And verse 18. A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city. He that is rash in his talk shall be hated. So it says a man that is of an ill tongue. So you have some people whose mouth is bent on destruction. An ill tongue is somebody that's slanderous, or what's the word I'm looking for? Malicious. A malicious, slanderous tongue. All right. You have some people whose mouth or tongue is bent on destruction, whose tongue is solely bent on slander and doing harm. Our people, this is what it's going to right here. That type of person would destroy a city, would tear down the walls in a city. Why? Because that one word that that man might say might go throughout the whole city and destroy multiple people's lives. All right? But that's not what we were supposed to do, Israel. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. Proverbs 15 and verse 1. Proverbs 15 and verse 1. A soft answer turn away wrath, but grievous word. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I say Proverbs 16 and 1. Let me bear with me. Well, yeah. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up strife. Grievous words stirred up strife. In Sirach 9 and 18, a man of an ill tongue is dangerous in the city, because he stirs up strife. He tears down rather than build up. Now, it says a soft answer turned away wrath, right? That's how we build up Israel. A soft answer turns away wrath. Okay? Now, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated. Okay. He that is rash in his talk. This is a person that speaks reckless. A person with a rash talk is somebody that speaks reckless. Meaning what? Without thoughts. He speak without thinking. They think, meaning quick to insult, put down, lie, all of the above. They do all of these things. Quick to insult, quick to put down, quick to scandalize somebody's name without even thinking about it. Right? And this is somebody that people don't want to deal with. That's why I said the scripture said he is hated. Because people don't want to deal with somebody that's like that. Every time you see this person, he just running at the mouth, not even thinking about nothing, not caring about nothing. Always quick to insult, always quick to point the finger, put down this and that. People don't want to deal with that. And we deal with that a lot in Israel. In the truth and outside of the truth. Right? Let's go to Sirach 19:6. The book of Sirach, chapter 19:6. He that can rule his tongue, meaning what? He that can control his tongue, a person that know when and how to respond, right? He that can control his tongue, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife. This person that can control his tongue will live without conflict and issues. Why? Because you might be in the midst of somebody that's just going off on you. And you know within your mind, okay, now if I react the way that he's reacting, it's not gonna turn out right. Problems is going to present themselves to us. So he that can do what? Rule his own tongue, control what he says, and allow that person to talk. Say whatever you want to say, man. That person right there shall live without strife, conflict, and he that hated babbling shall have less evil. Okay, hated babbling, excess of talking words. A person that don't want to be in the midst of somebody that's always just running at the mouth, continue on without nothing prosperous coming out of that person's mouth. That person shall have less evil, meaning what? Less things that's going to bother you, less wickedness that's come upon you. All right? He that delighted with wickedness shall be condemned. So the opposite of that would be somebody that delight in that. So if you delight in the babbler, you will be condemned with wickedness. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 7. Sirach, I'm almost done, Israel. Almost done. Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 7. The book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 7. A wise man hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. A wise man understands that there's a time and a place for all things. When he sees something going on that's transpiring in the midst of him, you're like, let me think about this for a second. I don't think it's the right time for me to say anything. You might be in the midst of two people that's going back and forth, and you have to realize within yourself, okay, I can't take nobody's side because they both basically having good pinpoints or good points. They're both in the wrong. So sometimes you have to do what? Go to them separately and say, hey man, this is what you did wrong. Hey man, this is what you did wrong. A wise man holdeth his tongue. Not only did he hold his tongue in that form, man, how else did he hold his tongue? This man might be in a situation where conflict and strife are there. Wrath and anger present before him. And instead of him aiding into it, instead of him falling into that thing, he holds his tongue. He turns the other cheek. Not so much a turn in the physical cheek, unless somebody just punch in your face. But just like, what? Okay, you got it. You win. Sometimes it's okay to a person that's angry, going at the mouth, 100 into nothing. Sometimes it's okay to allow that person to say what they want to say and then just wait. Right? But a babbler, a person that's excessive talking, over talking, just nonstop, basically saying nothing, just running at the mouth, mumbling under his breath. A babbler and a fool will regard no time. They don't care what time it is. They don't care what situation is going on. They don't care if you arguing, if 5 people arguing at one time. They ain't gonna regard that time. They gonna always open their damn mouth. Always have something to say. Always go back and forth. They're not going to consider. They're not going to examine the matter and be patient. Right? So let's go to verse 1. Sirach 20, verse 1. There is a reproof that is not comely. Reproof meaning rebuke that is not comely, meaning that is not good, that is not beautiful, but meaning not good. Again, some man holding his tongue, and he is wise. Right? So let's go to Proverbs 21 and 3. '21 and 23. I'm tripping. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue, keepeth his soul from troubles. Right? So, there is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some men holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. Meaning what? Sometimes you would try to reprove or rebuke somebody in a wrong way, in the wrong manner. You know, sometimes it's not always fitting to try to reprove or rebuke somebody, right? So sometimes being quiet, not trying to correct someone, is wise, because conflict can come about. That's what this is going into right here in verse 7. A wise man holdeth his tongue, meaning what? He's not so quick to go out there and rebuke, correct, and basically be in the midst of conflict. But the opposite of those are those that are babblers and those that are fools who don't regard no time. They don't care. Okay, well, this ain't the time to rebuke this person or reprove this person. It's the wrong time, because what you're reproving this person or rebuking this person for is not right. It's of your own understanding. So, as I say again, Israel, the topic of today was strive to be quiet in your walk, your physical walk and your spiritual walk. Because why? We are the people of the book, right? There's a target on your back, Israel, because you know more than 99.9% of the people that's on this earth. And the understanding and the doctrine that you have is so valuable that they will destroy you before you get it out your mouth. They will destroy you how? Through their crafty counsels, through their jobs. Now they get to the point where they're trying to question what kind of religion you are, right? They would destroy you, Israel. Their whole job is to destroy the poor in secrecy. We are that poor. Why are we the poor? Why is our people the poor? Because why? The word is what makes us rich. The word is what sustains us as a people. Make us whole. Give us back those royalty things that we lack, that was stripped from us because of our sins. So in this walk that you're living in now, always strive to live a quiet life. Now, I'm not saying when you go out there, if you're giving the classes and things like that, if you're out there on the highways and the byways and the hedges, and you out there crying aloud, I'm not saying all of those things. Because the Most High Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, is going to cover you, cover us as a people. When you everyday walk in this truth, when you walking, when you in life, going to your job, be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove, right? You don't have to be that bold Israelite with your fringes all loud and saying this, hey, I'm an Israelite, damn the devil, damn the white man, Esau, you the damn devil. Because then you're going to make that target on your back this much bigger, right? You won't get no jobs. You won't get no assistance. You won't get no help. Nothing. At the end of the day, we are still in the land of our captivity, in the land of our captive. And we have to do what? Go to them for the want of all things. That's our curses. I'm not saying go beg, but if you have the means to go out there and get you your own land, all praise to the Most High. But there's a lot of us that's in this truth that can't do that. And so we have to be wise, right? The scripture says, if all possible, live peaceable with all men. Just because you live in peaceful with these people doesn't mean you got to love them. You're just doing things so that that target on your back that's this small won't turn into this big. That's all it is. So strive to live a quiet life in your walk, your physical walk and your spiritual walk, right? When it comes to the spiritual walk, be willing to learn, hear, understand, rather than trying to put yourself in a category of elders that are above you, leaders that are above you, and the Most High. Know your own strength. Seek not things too high for thee, right? The Most High will give you the understanding when it's need necessary for you to have it. But what you do have, go over it, learn it 10 times harder. Increase whatever you got, whatever knowledge the Most High has given you, increase it to the point where you can say it in your sleep. Enjoy your Sabbath day, for truly this is a worthy day to praise the Most High, because He is worthy and worthy to be praised. Right? This is the day that He rested, and He gave us to do the exact same thing. He said, speaking to the children of Israel, tell them what? Remember the Sabbath day. He didn't say tell the whole world. He said you Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. So remember this day. Pray. Read your scriptures. Cry out to the Most High. But use few babbling words. Remember that. With that, I say shalom. Most High in Christ bless. Your brother Netanyahu from Tabernacle of the Most High. We got next. All praise to the Most High Yahweh by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua. Kwam Yasharallah. Be ye ready to take the kingdom.